now has a one-game lead on Oakland with the AL West lead, with the Rangers the A's losing to the Rangers 8-3. Texas snapping a 6-game losing skid. Mets and Braves split a doubleheader in New York. New York takes game 1 4-2. Jacob deGrom gets his 7th win. Braves come back for a 1-0 win in the second game. Padres down the Dodgers 6-2, and then 12 innings, the Twins walk off with a 7-5 win over the Reds. I'm Eddie Garcia.
Wake up, Lincoln.
Come on, it's 6 o'clock. Rise and shine, rise and shine.
It's time for Early Break with Sip and Jake, brought to you by Gaina Trucking. Live from the Coppel Chevrolet GMC studios in the heart of Lincoln, America. Here's 93.7 The Ticket's Jake Sorensen.
Did seem kind of meh.
And the Lincoln Journal Star's Steve Sipple.
Surprisingly good.
This is Early Break with Sip and Jake, sponsored by Gaina Trucking.
Good morning. Happy Tuesday to you, Steve Sipple, Jake Sorensen. Early break, full show ahead. Rick Kaczynski, Robin Washit, and plenty more. What are you doing with your computer to begin the show today?
There's food all over.
As we start the show and the broadcast, you are flipping your laptop over already.
Yeah, there's food on. Tricks, come on. Tricks.
Think she's watching?
Nope.
Well, if she's not, you can on the Sauter Heyman video stream on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. Go ahead and watch us there. Give us a comment. We'll put your comment on the screen if we like it, and we'll talk about it. You can also text or call the show at 464-5685. I'm doing great.
Yeah, you're resplendent in red.
Yeah, you're plenty on. Can you hear yourself?
Yeah.
I'm wearing Tiger Woods attire today.
I
got the red shirt, the black pants.
You should go with that red more often.
I wear it probably once every 2 weeks.
That's not even Husker red. You can get away with that and not be.
It's not Husker red.
Right.
What is this red? Is it Tiger red? Does he have a specific red?
What is that red? I don't know. That looks. I don't know what it is.
If you're watching on the stream, what red is this? You're right. This is not, for some reason, a Husker red.
Right.
It's like too dark, maybe?
Yeah, it's darker. It is.
It's pretty.
Like I don't see that, and it's a Nike shirt too, so that tells you it's not Husker. Not that it can't be. I'm just so people don't accuse you of being a complete homer.
Well, I don't ever wear Nebraska gear anywhere. Yeah. I have one Nebraska jacket I will wear, like if I am, I don't know, with nobody on a golf course, maybe if it's cold out. Otherwise, I don't wear Husker gear. It's you're in the media, you don't wear it. Yeah. Before we get into stuff from yesterday, I had a very strange encounter last night. Maybe this is not strange at all, but you guys can tell me if it is or isn't. I was driving back from Golf League last night. And oh, by the way, the longest night of the year, June 21st. It was light until like 10 o'clock last night, basically. It was great. Yeah. But I'm driving back around 9:30. It's still light out. And I'm passing an area on Old Cheney going back from Woodland Hills to Lincoln. And I slow down because it looks like there's a turkey on the side of the road. Okay, common thing in this area. As I approach it and get closer and slow way down, it is not a turkey. It is a full-grown peacock. Do you see peacocks in this area very often? Did the zoo had an escape animal? I was blown away. Now, maybe this is not uncommon. I'm just telling you.
Okay, here we go.
You don't expect to see a peacock in the middle of Nebraska.
Are you sure?
I am dead positive it was a peacock. Yes, it had its tail spread out, like it had all the funky colors. I know what a peacock is. I've been to the zoo before. It was not a turkey. It looked like the size of a turkey. It's why I said, okay, easy, careful.
Excuse me for being immediately skeptical that you misidentified the animal.
It was a peacock.
What do the people say?
I don't know. I looked up.
Everybody.
I looked up before the show. Apparently, 5 years ago in Omaha, there was wild peacocks on the loose. So it's not that uncommon.
I think it's a wild peacock.
I don't know if it was a wild peacock or if it was an animal they have on a farm somewhere. I'm not sure who has peacocks on the farm.
I guess it could have got loose.
I am dead positive that I saw a solo peacock last night on the side of the road. Because I thought it was a turkey.
Now, if this story were reversed, you know what would happen, right? What's so big about that? It's a peacock. Peacocks are around.
But are they, though?
I'm just saying what you would say.
Yeah, peacocks is just a common animal.
Why?
It's a common bird. Fool. I'm just.
You understand?
I just have this
I just
visual.
I just want you to understand that you often take that tack. Why is that such a big deal?
Yeah.
You saw a mountain lion? Wow.
Now that would be terrifying. I'm just saying that. Yeah, I have this visual of this peacock leaving the zoo somehow and escaping to the outer parts of Lincoln. Brian Breezy says, "You are not crazy. There is also one down by Firth. Keep showing up at my buddy's farm place."
Is that right?
I wasn't crazy. I told you. I didn't expect to see a peacock ever in Lincoln, Nebraska, outside of the zoo, but here it was on the side of the road. It was alive. It was just waiting, watching me go by.
Did you make any of those weird sounds that you
No,
made?
I didn't. I said, "What the?" As I drove by.
I
said, "That's a peacock."
Like you tried to talk.
No, I did not make any sounds.
What is a
It wasn't
peacock
chicken.
sound?
I have no idea.
Is it similar to that?
I don't think they make a lot of sound. They're the annoying birds at the zoo that don't really have a place, that they're just kind of let out and about, and they might just come up and poke you.
I would like to know what the peacock sound is, Jake.
Well, then we'll have to look it up during the show.
You don't think it's it's probably not that. I don't know what makes that sound actually.
That's a chicken. Chicken makes that sound. Sledge says, "I almost had a peacock at 134th and Van Dorn several years ago." I mean, this is about what I was at. I was at 134th in like Old Cheney, so it was a very similar area.
So you saw a peacock.
I'm telling you, I'm getting confirmation that was a real thing.
Okay,
so I'm not crazy.
No, you're not.
I didn't expect to see that, and that's what I saw. So there's my news from last night that I
don't
wasn't
have
crazy.
Any sort of news like that.
Well, good. That's what that's what I'm here for. Is the stupid weird news.
Yeah. Okay, let's
get into it. Yesterday was a big day. The Supreme Court was discussing all the things with the NCAA in terms of what they can do to restrict benefits and potential payment to players down the road.
So no.
Well,
Hang
on. This is from Yahoo. Okay. Sorry, USA Today says this. The Supreme Court on Monday ruled against the NCAA in a landmark antitrust case that specifically challenged the association's ability to have national limits on benefits for athletes that are related to education, but more broadly had raised doubts about its ability to limit benefits at all. The ruling will end the association's nationwide limits on education-related benefits athletes can receive for playing college sports. Going forward, it says, in upholding lower court rulings, the justices affirmed an injunction that could fundamentally alter the NCAA system of amateurism.
So that's the significance. It takes some more teeth out of the NCAA.
It does,
which is important in the NIL discussion. And we're going to get into this a little bit. Okay. I want to raise a few scenarios for you. Now I want to just start with this.
Okay.
And I'd be interested in what Big Sky says. This is in no way an attack on the NIL. This is us, I hope, being very non-judgmental, but laying out situations. Okay. A lot of people, would you say, Jake, are anti-NCAA. They want the NCAA to go away.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I have a question for those people. Okay. Are you one of those people?
No, I'm not. I am not one of those people.
Okay, I have a question for those people. Okay?
So I'll try to answer like I'm one of them.
Who is the enforcement? Who handles enforcement of NIL if there's no NCAA? For instance, can I give you a for instance?
Yeah, let's do it.
Which I'm going to give you for instance, it's happening right now. Okay? Who enforces, who takes care of the violations of, say, an assistant coach or a head coach literally brokering deals for student athletes? Okay, do you understand why that's a problem, first of all?
Uh-huh.
Because the schools aren't supposed to be involved. Okay? And if it's a men's coach, it's a Title IX issue. Okay, now do you understand the problem right away? And I guarantee you it's happening. I've heard it. I talked to a lot of people. It's happening. Okay. And how could it not happen, Jake? How could it not happen?
Yeah,
Now let's stay with coaches brokering deals in cities for athletes. Of course they're doing it. How could they not do it? Athlete comes onto campus. Hey, coach, you said a certain amount of money would be available to me. When can we get this roll? We can get it rolling right now. Make a few calls, and this is happening. Okay, now my question to people who say eradicate the NCAA, who takes care of the enforcement of that situation?
I don't have an answer for you.
Well, here's one answer.
Because that's why I have the same question as you.
Here's a popular answer. Well, Sip, there's going to be a union. The union. There's going to be a union.
When does that come into play?
A union for the student athletes. Okay, yeah. Let's explain this to Dylan Raiola, the 15-year-old. What a union is about. Well, yeah, I guess you can. I mean, 16-year-olds go work in the coal mines in West Virginia. I suppose that's but that's the route we're going. Now, I'm not saying it's bad or good or otherwise. I'm just saying that's the route we're going. And it may not even be a big deal in 5 years. There's just going to be a lot of weird, nuanced discussions.
Well, it's going to be a strange 5 years up until then.
Is it? I don't know.
I don't know how this wouldn't be strange. You're right. I mean, if the NCAA is getting kicked to the curb, basically, I mean,
losing its teeth.
Yeah, I mean, it's not gone fully, but it's going away by the day. It feels like the NCAA is, in terms of their power, their jurisdiction, it's being limited by the second as we get closer and closer to NIL being the thing.
That's what yesterday represented.
Yeah, I mean, it's just hard to know who's governing who at some point in terms of what's legal and what's not.
Well, it's not hard to understand. No, let's slow down.
All right.
I just want you to understand something. Why you understand? Do you have a full understanding of why it would not be okay for Travis Fisher, for instance, the DB's coach, to say to an athlete, "Hey, I'll help you. I'll help you with this NIL. In fact, I'll set you up."
Mm-hmm.
Coaches can't do that. That's a problem. You can't do that, Jake.
But how do you prevent that from happening?
Especially if there's no NCAA.
Right.
How do you prevent it from happening?
You can't do it, but you can't not do it now, right? It feels
now,
like
somebody would say maybe the school. Okay, yeah, the schools have done a really good job of policing themselves so far. There's a lot of evidence of that. Who is the enforcement arm? The best answer I've gotten is simple. It's gonna have to be a union type situation that enforces. I don't know how that works. But it's a Mayo coach helping a big time player setting that player up with deals is, for one thing, a Title IX issue. I mean, that's probably the biggest. It's violation of federal law. Okay, it's not even an NCAA matter as much as a federal law matter.
Mm-hmm.
But I say once again, if you're an assistant coach, what do you say? Well, who's gonna okay, I'm breaking rules, but if there's nobody enforcing the rules, is there even rules?
Am I on a wire the whole time? Because if not, I'm going to say some things that probably are illegal.
Say something. It doesn't even matter.
Promise some things that are illegal.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter. Yeah. And it's happening.
I can't do this, but I'm going to do this.
I can tell you it's happening. Of course it's happening. That's not breaking news. You think assistant coaches aren't helping guys? They're under a lot of pressure.
Well, we just saw that. We've seen this in basketball recently. Preston Marsh up at Creighton, and other guys at Arizona. Sean Miller's had some problems.
I'm waiting for the first time I get a call from an assistant coach that said, "Sip, hey, I mean this kid probably would be a really good representative for somebody. You know some people, you know." Hey, coach, first of all, I can't get involved. And second of all, you're not supposed to be involved. I wouldn't say that, but come on. It's a fascinating thing that's happening. And I'm not saying it's all bad. I think it can probably work. But you are okay. Now there's another question I want to ask you, Jake. And this is sort of funny to me.
Okay.
What is the mission of collegiate athletics at this point? Is the mission now basically to make sure kids are making money? Is that the mission?
It feels like that.
Or is there's no
amateurism anymore.
No, I laugh about it. Are we really worried about the mission of collegiate athletics right now? Of the mission of promoting a culture of teamwork, of responding to adversity, of working toward a common goal with teammates. I
doesn't
kind
feel
of
like that way.
No, I think that the NIL. Do you think the NIL enhances the notion of that?
No, it makes it work. The notion becomes a lot of me and
right,
I want to make sure that if I'm getting paid by somebody, also
I'm getting mine,
but also I want to make sure that I am getting all my targets for this specific client or sponsor of mine, that I'm going to be able to make them happy.
Right. We can all
I want to be selfish a little bit.
I'm okay with going down the NIL road if we can all just agree that it's sort of humorous. This idea, this notion of a mission of collegiate athletics. Come on, there's no mission. It's over.
It is. It feels
it's
over.
It's not collegiate athletics anymore.
I just
if we're ready for now, that's fine. Jake, we got to get over it. That's the bottom line.
The train's not stopping. No. It's coming.
Right.
But it's just going to feel like, I'm with you. The mission of what it has been forever is not the mission anymore.
Mission's over. Chris.
Let's get a call from Chris on the Honda of Lincoln hotline, 402-464-5685. Chris, you're on early break. Go ahead.
Hey, good morning, Steve Jake.
Hi, Chris. How are you?
Very good this morning. A beautiful morning out here. Now, Steve Jake, we kind of knew this was coming, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. Yeah, I think
so. And if you listen, the judge's ruling was 9-0.
Yep.
So the evidence was apparently overwhelming against the NCAA. And if you read what Justice Kavanaugh wrote in his statement, it's pretty compelling stuff. Now, because he says anybody else doing this outside the NCAA in the restaurant business or any other type of business, it'd be against the law.
Right.
But now, Steve, Jake, there, like you guys said, there's going to have to be some kind of organization that oversees this stuff, and it's going to have to be people of integrity for sure. How you're going to, Steve, I totally agree with you. There's stuff going on that we don't know about, that people have probably, coaches have probably, athletic departments have probably getting away with for years. I always used to hear a statement from the past that says, the law only catches about 20% of all crime. So I'm sure that rolls over into college athletics. But my question to you guys is, now with compensation looking like it's coming down the line, will it be distributed by, say, revenue brought in by, say, football and basketball, which are clearly the two biggest revenue sports with their TV contracts and everything, and gate receipts. So, I don't know how they're going to do it, Steve. Jake, I'm glad I'm not in charge of it, because I wouldn't know where in the hell to start. But anyway, it's another thing in this wild and crazy last year and a half or 2 years we've had. But boy, it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. So, but Steve, Jake, listen, hey, you guys have a great morning and a great topic, Jake.
Thank you. Kaz, thank you, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
Kaz says, did you guys even read this? Do you realize that the NIL was not even discussed in this opinion? Yes, Kaz, we opened the show by saying that, so maybe you missed that part.
Sure, this too.
The only way that it is relatable to NIL is this. It takes the teeth out of this. Takes some teeth out of the NCAA.
Yeah, you can't deny that.
Yeah, Kaz, we addressed that.
Okay, before we get to Tyler, more from USA Today in terms of this article. It says, "Are athletes playing Division I men's or women's basketball or bowl subdivision football will be able to receive benefits from their schools?"
No, not schools. This is not.
That's what this says.
I know. Well, that is this the opinion yesterday?
It says in upholding lower court ruling.
No, Jake, this is separate. This is not NIL discussion.
I know. I was reading from yesterday though.
Okay.
This is from yesterday.
Okay.
Going back to the Supreme Court from yesterday. Excuse me. Athletes playing Division I men's or women's basketball or bowl subdivision football will be able to receive benefits from their schools that include cash or cash equivalent awards based on academics or graduation. Among the other benefits that schools also can offer are scholarships to complete undergraduate or graduate degrees at any school and paid internships after athletes have completed their collegiate sports eligibility. That's what yesterday was.
Yeah, that's what yesterday was about. Yes. It has nothing to do with the NIL. So people understand schools are not
right
with the NIL. This is not schools brokering deals with student athletes. That's not the way this works. It has nothing to do with schools doing it, but schools will. The schools will do it. I mean, that's what's going to happen. It's not supposed to happen this way. It's supposed to be independent. Student athletes are operating independently, ostensibly, but in reality,
it won't. It's
no.
Not.
Come on.
Tyler, you're on early break. Go ahead.
Hey, Jake, it's Tyler. Long time. Where you at in the golf course?
I'm not on the golf course right now. Sadly, I'm on the radio, but I wish I could be on the golf course right now.
Hey, yeah, I played Division II baseball. And back, in the early 2000s, this whole NIL is going to get out of hand. I think the conferences are eventually going to have to govern themselves separately, besides the NCAA doing it, because the NCAA is not going to be able to control anything going on from here. Schools are just going to get out of hand with what they're handing out, where they're going. I went through the grind of, going hungry some days, where you didn't have any money. Now these kids are all getting paid. There's nobody watching over anything that's going on right now. So I'd like to hear your thoughts on how the government or how the conferences are going to govern themselves, because I don't think a union is going to be able to cover everything either. It's just like a little hand-me-down NCAA then.
Yeah, I don't. There's going to have to be I can't believe this hasn't been discussed at length already, but I think there's going to have to be a governing body. I mean, basically what you're talking about is a lot of people, a lot of forces that are for eradicating the NCAA. You're not for that necessarily. I'm not for that necessarily.
I'm not for that.
But for those that are for that, then you have to then tell me who's the enforcement body for all these issues that can arise with the NIL issues. Here's an issue. Why, Jake? There's going to be coaches that rise. Like say you're a coach at Florida State, and you're not really connected in the community, but there's a coach below you that is. Well, don't you think that coach below that's connected to business, that's connected to the major players in the city of Tallahassee, is going to have an advantage over the coach that's not?
Mm-hmm.
And are you going to start looking for that in coaches? Hey, what kind of connections do you have? Because if we're going to get the very best players, we have to figure out how to pay the very best players. It's not all going to be just open doors.
Isn't already a pretty big part of recruiting, though, is to have connections, though. I understand that you're going further for this.
Not direct monetary connections.
But when it comes to connections with businesses in town specifically and players potentially.
I don't think that would be something. No,
I'm not saying right now it's not, but in this instance with you, yes.
I would think so. Very much. I think that would definitely be a factor. A lot of coaches just want to coach ball. They don't want to be asked, okay, now what kind of business connections do you have? Because if we're going to get the very best defensive backs in the Southeastern Conference,
who do you know in town?
Yeah, we're going to have to hook them up.
I think this text coming in, maybe you agree with it. I disagree with it in terms of why this person thinks it's good for college sports NIL.
Okay.
Kevin in Southwest Lincoln says, NIL is good and may keep many of our best scholarship athletes from leaving early for the NFL, NBA, and MLB with the money lure. I mean, how much are they going to be making here? If they're good enough, they're going to be making still millions in the NFL. They could still leave early and do that.
No, but I think it could help.
It depends what they're making.
Right.
I mean, we don't know.
Adrian,
what
I think
people are
that
gonna
the estimate. Open Doors estimated, I believe, Adrian at 150,000.
Okay, so if he wasn't, let's say he was an NFL first round pick, and he isn't, but let's say he was.
Right.
If he's making that much money, he can still leave after his junior year because you're going to make millions in the NFL.
Yeah, right.
Well, so what? How much is that going to tempt you to stay? I mean, maybe more so than usual, but still not that much compared to the millions you're still making to leave early and go pro.
There's an actual formula that you can project what somebody can make based on their social media presence.
Yep. Yeah.
You can. There's a projection. And that is not the issue to me. The issue is player X, high profile player X, high profile, recruited by everybody, comes on campus and says, when do we get this going? Okay. You said we get this going.
Yep.
When do we get this going? And what if player X puts a dollar figure on you? This is what I expect. Well, if you can't get to that dollar figure, then what?
Don't you say we expect you to play well enough to earn that dollar figure?
I don't think that. No,
that's where the negotiations. I know that's when the negotiations are going to be difficult. Saying, we think you might be worth that, but we want to see it first before we give you that money.
That's a whole nother discussion.
There's a lot of weird discussions that come out of all this.
Yeah, that's a whole nother discussion.
How do you come to figures, and how do they deserve those figures? If I'm a business, let's say I was looking to sponsor a player, I'd say, well, there's going to be incentives here. We're going to have a base here, knowing that, hey, you can work up to this, but you have to go earn that to get that incentive of this much more money.
There's a part of me now, if Title IX weren't in place, there's a part of me that would just say, open it up. Coaches can help, whoever can help. Title IX makes that impossible, though, because, I mean, probably on the women's side, they're not going to get the same level of representation as they will on the men's side. If that little federal law called Title IX weren't in place, I would say open it up. Everybody's a part of it.
But it is in place.
Coaches can help. The team manager, if he has a connection, he can help. But Title IX prohibits that from happening. Basically, Title IX is going to make this. Title IX is going to create a lot of issues in this. So yeah, I'm not saying it can't work. I think it can work.
To what level though can it work?
Well, I think don't you think in 5 years it just might be so ingrained in us that we don't even think about it anymore. Sometimes things will pop up.
I'd like to see what the product looks like still on various teams to see if it feels at all like college sports still. If I'm watching a basketball game or football game and it feels like it used to in the past, or if it just feels totally different.
Why wouldn't it feel the same?
Just I don't know, because again, you asked the question earlier about is there still a team entity at all?
The idea of the mission of collegiate athletics.
Right. Is it going to be very clear? Hey, this is a very me-oriented team with these specific guys.
Jake, basically what you're talking about is the eradication of amateurism.
Yes.
So the mission of collegiate athletics. Come on, you just have to be okay with that going away. Okay. You don't have a choice.
I don't. I wonder what the sport looks like if it becomes sloppy,
mission
it becomes
goes away.
Very much so. Just hey, this is a very selfish society.
I wouldn't. I'm not saying.
I'm saying watch for that.
Okay, I'm not.
Depends on what guys are making.
Yeah, I'm not going that far.
How many targets they need, catches per game.
Again, I think it'll become so ingrained in the system that it'll be like the pros. We don't notice when someone signs a deal with Quick Milk or whatever. We don't pay attention to that stuff.
Let's get one last quick call before we get to Kaz. Corey, you're on early break. Go ahead.
I think what the Supreme Court is saying is that mission that you guys are clinging to of amateurism, that hasn't existed for a long, long time. And that's really what the crux of all this is. When an outside entity comes in and takes a look at it, they're telling you this is a huge business, and it has been for decades.
Mm-hmm.
And the student athletes aren't the ones that did that. So all these other issues that get brought up, I'm not saying that there won't be issues that need to be dealt with, but they're secondary issues. When you fundamentally fix something that was broken, or at least reclassify it properly, you're going to have issues arise. But that doesn't mean you don't fix the problem or do the right thing, which is what's happening here, in my opinion. As far as like the Title IX thing goes, Sip, I don't know who enforces this stuff, if they have to like make some specialized, formalized body to do that. But if you're talking about a federal law, isn't that just like going to be the FBI's purview?
Well, yeah, it could be. Like it's been the FBI's purview in college basketball, or it became the FBI's purview. So yeah, it could. Yeah, it definitely could.
Yeah. So I mean, to me, if you're talking federal law being a bugaboo, just let the feds enforce their own laws.
Yeah, that could be.
All right. Thanks for the call, Corey.
Until it becomes clear that the FBI is looking into it, it just might. Hey, Jake, it just might be a quick issue. That right now coaches are helping athletes, but they understand that this isn't going to last for long.
Yeah. Interesting times. We'll see how this all goes the next couple of years, or even this year. Rick Kaczynski is up next on Early Break on the Ticket.
Bagels and Joe is ready for the summer with peaches and cream cheese. Great on any bagel. Don't forget their delicious breakfast burritos and sandwiches, and grab a business box of bagels for the work crew. Bagels and Joe with 4 Lincoln locations.
Need a better job? Looking for a career? Gaina Trucking and Excavating is what you're looking for. They are a rapidly growing company looking for a heavy mechanic. Gaina Trucking and Excavating offers a team culture with lots of benefits, including 401k, health, annual raises, paid vacation, holidays, and much more. It's a great career opportunity. Want to love what you do? Join the Gaina Trucking team. Apply online at www.gainatrucking.com. That's www.gainatrucking.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Sunny skies with an afternoon high of around 90 expected. South-southwest winds a little breezy, gusting to 25. Very slight chance of thunderstorms late this afternoon into this evening, especially just north of the capital city. Overnight, we'll drop down into the mid-60s for lows. Tomorrow, heating back up further with a high of 95. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're in this together, and we will get through this together. The vaccines are tested effective and needed.
Welcome to the clinic with Charm.
Get your COVID-19 vaccine so we can do this. And this. And this.
We are now boarding flight.
Together again, because we got through it together. This message sponsored by the Helmsley Charitable Trust, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and the station.
Mike Schaefer here with 5-star child care provider Lee Beecher from Bubbles and Blocks. Let's start with what makes Bubbles and Blocks special.
We have 3 beautiful locations in Lincoln that provide the safety, security, and reliability you need, while also bringing a family feel to each classroom at every location.
I also hear some congratulations are in order.
Thank you. Yes, we just won the Lincoln Choice Award for Best Daycare and Preschool for the 3rd year in a row.
What should people do if they want to join the Bubbles and Blocks family?
Call to set up a tour to enroll your child today, or you can visit bubblesandblocks.com to apply to join our team.
Hi, I'm Jay Foreman. When I played football for Nebraska and the NFL, I wore lots of protective gear to safeguard my health. Today, I'm not only protecting my health, but that of my family, friends, and our community, because I got my COVID vaccine. And now, everyone 12 years and older can be vaccinated. It's free, it's safe, and it protects all of us. Suit up against COVID. Find out more at healthylincoln.org.
Baseball's back in Lincoln. Salt Dogs Baseball has returned, and we're celebrating their 20th season all summer long. In honor of the 20th season, the Salt Dogs are offering specials at every homestand May to September. Come on out for Nebraska Medical Association Thank You Tuesdays, Fairbury Brand Wiener Wednesdays, Thirsty Thursdays, Fireworks Fridays, Souvenir Saturdays, and Sunday Family Fun Days brought to you by Casey's. Get your tickets for the Salt Dogs celebration season at saltdogs.com.
Whether you're looking for a honey, we can't shrink the kids family car loan or look at my wheels first car loan, talk to Liberty First Credit Union. No hidden charges or early prepayment penalties and rates as low as 1.98% APR. Liberty First Credit Union, banking with purpose. Talk to a lender who's here for people, not profits. People like you. Rates may vary depending on year and miles. Subject to credit approval. Not available for current LFCU loans. See Liberty First Credit Union for details.
We're on the air.
Back
Well, party's starting early today, isn't it?
to more of Early Break with Sip and Jay, brought to you by Gaina Trucking. On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
It is that time of the week where we go out east to be joined by former Husker defensive line coach Rick Kaczynski. Kaz, good morning. I am curious, you coached for a long time in college football. How would you, and now they're getting closer to name, image, likeness being a deal in college sports. We're there. How would you operate right now in recruiting, Kaz? How would you enjoy having to potentially work out deals with guys in terms of getting them to your school you were at?
Hey, good morning, Jake. Sip.
Yes.
By the way, Jake, nice shirt. That's kind of a Stanford Cardinal.
Oh, there you go.
That's it. Yeah.
That's a Eddie Bauer.
Yeah, you get the Eddie Bauer shirt on.
1998 camo. You know? So I like it. I didn't know Eddie Bauer still had stores. In Lincoln.
They're still around.
But it's a nice shirt.
Yes, why would you say that? This was 1998.
By the way, this is awesome. Thank Rick for getting this. It provides levity to my mornings here for the last 3 weeks. But yeah, I wouldn't. You know, I think we got to take a step back. I think we're overreacting a little bit with this name, image, and likeness. I think we're acting like it's going to affect everybody, and in all reality, you might have one or two people at most on a team that it's going to affect, right? So as a coach, all I would do is, hey, educate the guys on it. And then also it's no different than selling your program. Hey, everybody, no matter whether you're at a place that has 28,000 people that show up or 90,000 every week, you're telling them how great the fans are, right? You're telling them how great the academics, whether you're first in the country academically or you're last, you're telling them about all the great things. So I don't think it's any different. Is you're selling the opportunities. Now that name, image, and likeness is part of that. That's all you're doing. You're selling the opportunities that you'll have in a place like Lincoln, Nebraska, because of the passion, the support in the community and in the institution. So I think it's just one more thing that you're selling. I think it can be a positive. Now, how many people is that going to affect, right? I mean, there's only so few Trevor Lawrences. So I think we're taking this and acting like it's going to affect every kid.
Okay.
There's going to be very, very, very few people.
Are we
in my opinion, that it's going to affect?
Yeah, I wonder about that. I mean, Kaz, right away, I would wonder, is it really going to affect just one or two kids in a recruiting class?
I think Sip and Jake, recruiting class. Here's the other rabbit hole we're going down. Right? There's a couple things. Okay, let me if I can just take a step back here.
Yeah, let's do that.
And I know you guys touched on it. You know, Gorsuch's opinion, which I believe in, and I agree with 100%. That's providing compensation for internships, job, education-related opportunities. 100%.
Right.
100%. When I was at Notre Dame, I had to work for free in the summer. You know, trying to build a resume. So I agree with that 100%. Okay. But also, you know, when you're talking name, image, likeness, amateurism, all those things, the NCAA, you got to give them a little bit of, the NCAA does a lot that also benefits the students, right?
Okay.
They are the manager. They are money managers. And I know one of your callers touched upon that.
Mm-hmm.
But they're a governing body. They do, believe it or not, contrary to belief, look out for the student athlete. there are things that protect student athletes from the coaches, from cutting them, right? From, hey, you're not any good, get out. Nope, you're on scholarship. Look at McCaffrey, right? He was on scholarship, wasn't partaking in anything on Nebraska's campus, but he was on Nebraska's tab, right? Where else in the world does it work like that? So there's a lot of things that the NCAA does that benefits the student athlete. So you got to be careful. And I know who's governing these things, right? And then also on the high school, how is this affecting? Do we start paying high school players too?
Yeah.
I mean, this
Probably.
stud kid from Los Angeles, that UCLA,
Yes.
USC's trying to get.
Yes, we
I
do.
mean, it's just we're just going down a path, guys. But
The answer
I
to that
think it's
question is
really,
yes.
really bad for the sport, for all sports. But also, I really think it's not going to be as big when it comes to the surface. How many kids like that are in the country? How many Trevor Lawrences are there? Who else on Clemson you paying besides Trevor Lawrence? They're the number one team. Clemson, Alabama. How many guys? Maybe 5 once they're on campus?
Well, I'd say this.
Am I right?
To me, it makes like the services like a Rivals and 24/7 Sports with their star ratings more important than ever.
Yes.
Because you're going to say, hey, if I'm
Absolutely.
a 5-star, I deserve a certain money guarantee at a school
I
right,
think-
when I go
yeah.
there, right? And so you're going to try to force
guys.
your hand to get more 5-stars to get to that level.
Let's be honest. What's going to change? The rich get richer. The same, right?
Yeah, it's already happened, right?
Who's going to eat, right?
Right.
Ohio State, Clemson, Alabama. You know, I mean, you know how good Catholics are with money. Kidding me?
Now hold
Notre
on.
Dame.
Is
I mean,
that
good Lord? I mean, the rich are going to get richer, guys. That's so. When you're looking at the hierarchy, if you think that this is going to help you, it's not going to change recruiting at all. Kids are still. If Nebraska is recruiting a kid right now against Clemson and Alabama, you're selling the same thing when it comes to name, image, and likeness. 3 coaches are sitting at the kitchen table. What's Alabama telling that kid and that family? What's Clemson? And what's Nebraska selling? Oh man, we can give you the same opportunities for name, image, and likeness. The only problem is these other 2 teams are in the playoffs every year. So what are you making your decision on? Winning football games and more opportunities. That's it. So I don't think it's going to affect.
Okay.
You're not going to get a 5-star, in my opinion, to come to Lincoln, Nebraska because of name, image, and likeness.
I don't.
Now, maybe
think
I'm a dinosaur, but I just don't think that's going to happen.
I'm interested in what Jake said. Will there be literally a price set?
Yeah.
Will there be a value attached that's maybe unspoken or maybe it's spoken attached to a 5-star athlete? You're worth this in the NIL realm. And why would that be a problem?
But once again, okay, if they do that, who's making those decisions, guys? It's like our start conversation. I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago. Who's making those decisions? Is it coaches?
The industry's
Give me a
making
group of coaches together. Get Barry and Tom Osborne in a room, and that's when I'll start listening to guys' value, and that's when I'll start listening who's a 3 and 4 and 5-star.
The
All right,
market.
Put a committee together. I mean, who's going to do that? Guys that never played a sport, guys that never played high school or college football, that call 16-year-old kids and FaceTime them. I mean, are you kidding me? I'm going to listen to those clowns. Just like it's no different than now. And those, and I'm not. I mean, I'm not. Actually, I am. But I am bashing those guys. But you got people that never coached, never played, telling you, rating guys in a sport, right? I mean, that makes no sense. So they're going to do it now for money? Are they money managers? Are they marketers? What do they know about value, monetary value? I mean, that's. It's just, I just think it's bad, and I'm sure that'll happen.
No, yeah,
I'm sure that'll happen.
I think it's going to get sloppy.
Who's going to listen to it? Some clown on a message board that gives himself a cyber mustache and a fake name.
No.
Gets up at 2 a.m. and bashes a quarterback because
Easy,
he didn't
Jesse.
throw 2 touchdowns. I mean, come on, guys.
No, the market will set the price is what I'm suggesting. That the industry and the market will set the price for a 5-star athlete. And then
what's the market though? Define the market. That's what I'm talking. We're talking general. Define the market.
Well, a 5-star would get a set amount, a high 4-star would get a set amount, a low 4-star would get a set amount. that it would be
Sip,
it would be largely
what I'm saying
unspoken.
is, where is that market? Who's paying that? Who's paying that?
Well, it'd be independent.
Even in Alabama and Clemson, they get 25 5-stars. Who's paying that? So that somebody's going to dish out $330K to each kid?
I don't know.
And guys, I Sip, I'm telling, I know you brought it up, this Title IX.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that goes, anything that is attached or represented by an institution still falls under the guidelines of Title IX. A lot of this stuff, you just wait. People are going to lawyer up. This stuff will be held up in litigation forever because it is clearly based on equal opportunity. So if the quarterback is getting $330,000 at Clemson, why isn't the first-ranked gymnast in the country?
I got an answer, Kaz. I got an answer because the institution doesn't control it. It
doesn't matter. It's still tied. Sip, I'm telling. Go read it, bud. I'm telling you, it's going to be held up. Sip. There's there's so much stuff, and that's why I know everybody bashes the NCAA. That's so easy to do, but there's still a governing body. There's still an institution that protects student athletes. Who's going to manage the money? So these institutions are basically going to be self-sufficient, governed by the conference. How did that go last year?
Great. Yeah, they weren't exactly on the same page. So yeah, different rules would apply to different conferences, probably like last year. But Kaz, to answer your question, there is a simple answer. That's why the institutions can't set up these deals for student athletes. They can't be involved in that. That's got to be an outside entity that takes care of that. And then that takes care of the Title IX issue.
Well, let me take this back. Let's go back to the beginning of the conversation. You're talking about rivals. You're talking about market value.
Mm-hmm.
Are you using that for recruiting? What's Nebraska selling NIL?
Well, I don't know.
Is that a recruiting?
Yes.
So, right?
Yeah.
So when it becomes a recruiting tool, okay, that's the tentacles of Title IX.
Right.
Connect the dots right there.
No, you're right about that.
I'm a coach. I'm selling NIL. You guys talked about some anonymous coach in Tallahassee, some made-up coach that lives in Tallahassee that knows the community well, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're selling it as a recruiting tool, it falls under the Title IX umbrella.
Absolutely. Now, I agree with that. Right. That's a stumbling block that has to be dealt with because then the school is directly involved when it's not supposed to be.
How easy. So does the board or so that. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean, it's like, market value, but yeah, it's going to be dealt with, but nobody knows how to deal with it right now.
Right.
The best people that know how to deal with it is who? The NCAA.
Yeah. Or
I'm telling you guys, you make them go away, it's going to be bad. It's going to affect women's sports. It's going to affect Olympic sports. You're going to have 4 major conferences. It's going to affect smaller schools. The rich get richer. And I'm telling you, man, it's not good. And it's going to take away the protection of these student athletes. You watch, these kids can't play, get them out. Get them out. Kids hurt, get them out.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's what Jake
got to
was
look
saying.
at the
That's
protection
my concern.
for the student athlete.
Right. Right. So if you're paying them, it becomes easier to say you're not productive. Sorry,
you're cut.
I mean,
you're basically cutting players.
You can't have it both ways. What about taxes? What about insurance? These guys have the best offices, the best facilities. They will never eat like they will, right? I've had some great jobs. My dad never ate like that. My brother's in corporate America. He never had an office like I had at Nebraska. You know, I mean, you look at these locker rooms, these facilities, the stadiums, the
healthcare,
what the students get. I mean, guys, that is NCAA. Okay, they're a big part of that. These guys live better. 90% of these guys live better now than they will the rest of their life. Okay, so now look at the health care they get.
Yep.
The best.
Mental health care.
I get the best doctor win.
Yep.
Tomorrow, you and I walk in the hospital. Oh, you're 6 weeks out.
Yep.
Okay. I mean, so you gotta look at the big picture here. And what happens? Same thing. Okay. Are they gonna have to pay? They're gonna have to pay for that ACL tear now that they're an employee. Is it a copay? They paying taxes?
Yeah.
Who's handling their taxes? Are they 1099? I mean, guys, we're just, like you're talking about, you think a 16-year-old kid knows how to do that? My first job, I got a visit from a union rep on the job site suggesting that I sign up for the union. I didn't even know what the hell it was. So, 16-year-old kid, hell, man, you're on Instagram and Facebook.
Yep.
I mean, what the hell you know about
Well, no,
that
the
stuff?
answer-
And I just think, guys, it's just we're going down a really, really, really bad path.
Well, we'll see on that. I mean, I'm open-minded. But like, as far as the union question, Kaz, you just say, yes, 16-year-old, you have to make a decision on this union issue. It probably will come to that.
And guess what, Sip? If I didn't join the union, guess what? There was another guy with that Notre Dame alum was paying me. There's another guy that would have walked right in and took that job.
Yeah.
That's what happened. And that's going to be the same thing that's going to happen on campuses across the country. There'll be a kid that's getting recruited by Bowling Green that says, shit, I'll go.
No, you're all right.
I'm going to go play.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got a delay there?
Yeah. No, we're fine.
It's all right.
It's okay. No, you're good. You keep going with the
I'm
thought.
going to go play.
Yeah.
I'm going to go play.
Uh-huh.
I'll go play for Nebraska. Heck yeah. So that's what we're getting into. But once again, I think when you're talking, there's so many tentacles to this, guys. When you go, it's going to affect how many people? How many people, name, image, likeness at Nebraska right now is it going to affect?
Well,
name
come
the player.
on, Kaz.
Who's
I think
getting
it's not at Nebraska necessarily, but I think you're talking about more than one or two per team. I don't know what the number is, but at Alabama, it's certainly more than one or two. At Clemson, it's certainly more than one
name
or two.
two. I can't name two at Notre Dame. Who's
I
at
don't
Ohio
know.
State?
I think.
Who's the two, Sip? Give me two names right now. Ohio State.
Well,
Playoff.
come on. There's
team.
probably
Got a bunch,
7
Garrett
or 8.
Wilson, Chris Olave, you got
Yeah.
a bunch of guys there.
Yeah, I mean, there's a
Bunch of
bunch.
guys.
I think at
Bunch of
Nebraska, you could have a lot of guys getting paid, not a lot of money, but having deals.
And how's that affect the tight end who got moved to center from Erie, Pennsylvania, who's not getting paid?
I don't.
Doesn't
That's
get a
the
dime.
question. Yeah, that's the question. But what
Yeah,
what they
it's a
say
big
though is
question.
that's what's happening in the pros. So what's the
Yeah.
difference? You know,
Kaz,
I roll up in a 83 Chevy Citation, and my quarterback's in a Escalade.
Yeah. Well, that's life. That's life.
How's that do for your team?
I got you. Oh, I hear you.
Kaz, we way out of time. We got to go. Thanks for your time this morning. We will chat with
Thanks,
you again
guys.
next week.
All right. Thank you,
Good stuff.
Kaz.
Rick Kaczynski, good stuff. We went about, 10 minutes long there. We got to get to break right now. We'll be back with Song of the Day next, an early break in the ticket.
Hi, Charlie Stone here for Honda of Lincoln, and before I bring out Andy Goodyear, I want to share this with you. I'm sure you've heard most auto dealers are very low or have no new cars to sell. For those of you who really want or need a new or pre-owned vehicle right now, Honda of Lincoln has more than 900 new Hondas in stock or on the way, and a great selection of pre-owned vehicles to choose from. Plus, you can still get financing from 0% APR or special factory lease rates. Andy, how did you get so many cars?
There are 3 primary reasons. 1, we are the oldest and largest volume Honda dealer in Nebraska. 2, we are a 15-time Honda President's Award winning dealer and the only Nebraska dealer to receive it in 2020. And 3, our customer satisfaction index with Honda is very high. When you combine all 3, Honda helps us have the cars and trucks on our lot.
Thanks, Andy. Come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Tractor Supply Distribution Center in Waverly is now hiring for all shifts. They're a 24/7 facility and a clean environment to work in. There's potential to earn up to $25.25 per hour with opportunities for overtime. They also offer a retention bonus as new team members are eligible for a bonus as high as $1,000. Come be a part of the Tractor Supply team. Apply today at www.tractorsupply.jobs.
Allo provides so much more. Safer screen time, more of the channels you love, and real peace of mind. Take it from Richard in Lincoln, who gets more with Allo.
The internet is twice as fast as competitors, and the whole package is saving me $60 per month. As a retired veteran, this extra money is fantastic.
So switch to Allo today. Go to allofiber.com/providing more.
One unforgettable event. One chance to get up close and personal with some of the greatest names in golf. One opportunity to create memories that will last a lifetime. Get your tickets now for the U.S. Senior Open, coming to Omaha July 5th through the 11th at the Omaha Country Club. If you're looking for family fun for all ages, this is one championship you don't want to miss. For tickets, visit ussenioropen.com.
Baseball's back in Lincoln. Salt Dogs Baseball has returned, and we're celebrating their 20th season all summer long. In honor of the 20th season, the Salt Dogs are offering specials at every homestand May to September. Come on out for Nebraska Medical Association Thank You Tuesdays, Fairbury Brand Wiener Wednesdays, Thirsty Thursdays, Fireworks Fridays, Souvenir Saturdays, and Sunday Family Fun Days brought to you by Casey's. Get your tickets for the Salt Dogs celebration season at saltdogs.com.
Whether you're looking for a honey, we can't shrink the kids family car loan or look at my wheels first car loan, talk to Liberty First Credit Union. No hidden charges or early prepayment penalties and rates as low as 1.98% APR. Liberty First Credit Union, banking with purpose. Talk to a lender who's here for people, not profits. People like you. Rates may vary depending on year and miles. Subject to credit approval. Not available for current LFCU loans. See Liberty First Credit Union for details.
You love to bash his sports takes.
Now, will you feel like an idiot if you're a big tough?
Never feel like an
if
idiot.
you're a big tough guy this morning,
But you really love to voice your displeasure for his music choices.
you stumbled on an issue that I did not think would generate this much passion and discussion.
It's time for Jake's questionable song of the day on Early Break on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
If I fall a long way, pick me up and dust me off. And if I get too tired to make it, be my breath so I can walk. And if I need some other loving, you give me more than I can stand. When my smile gets old and faded, wait around, I'll smile again. Shouldn't be so complicated. Just hold me and then, or just hold me again. Can you help me? I'm bent. I'm so scared that I'll never get put back together. Keep breaking me in, and this is how we really end. You and me.
Song of the day, Bent by Matchbox 20. 464-56851 is bad. 10 is good. Text your rating on the Sauter Heyman Jewelers Song of the Day.
Could you sympathize with my needs? I know you think I need a lot. I started out clean, but I'm jaded. Just falling in, or just breaking my skin. Can you help me? I'm bent.
Again, that is Bent by Matchbox 20 from the year 2000. 464-56851 is bad. 10 is good. Text your rating on the Sauter Heyman Jewelers Song of the Day.
Would you say that that's not a particularly manly rock song?
Well, I think there's a lot of rock songs that probably go by that notion.
That would you say that that's probably more like chicks might like that song more?
I think chicks and dudes like that song.
I think that's more of a chick song.
I mean,
is that inappropriate? It might make me feel uncomfortable.
No, it doesn't make me feel uncomfortable. I like that song. I'm not a chick, so.
I was intrigued.
I do like Matchbox 20.
I was intrigued by it.
That band, has like 6 or 7 or 8 big hits.
Talk about sympathy for his needs.
I didn't listen to the lyrics. I just like the sound. I don't listen to the lyrics at all.
Yeah. Jake, 5.
What about the sound, though?
It's not bad.
To take away the lyrics and as
No.
I go,
no, it sounds
the
all
sound.
Right. You tried on that. If it wasn't sort of a unique selection by you, it'd be way lower than a 5. But you give it a whirl, and I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
That song's not very good. It's a 5.
You thought it was Oasis when it started.
Yeah.
And I said, no,
I
it's not
knew
Oasis
it was Matchbox 20 as it went, but I just couldn't come up with the name in my head, Matchbox 20.
Well,
Big Sky couldn't have liked that song.
Did Big Sky had to rate this? Let's see. Big Sky probably gave that a 6.2.
No, low. He gave it a 4. It didn't have a hook.
8.2. Slow, but the hook is heaven sent. How about that for description? Hey, I saw Matchbox 20 once in concert, and they were great. They were awesome at the Mid-America Center in Omaha. It was awesome. Yeah, it was great.
I bet that it got high scores.
Someone sent me a 6.0 with a picture of a peacock as well.
Nice.
Earlier. Let's see. We got Grandpa Rick's 1.5, Leroy 7.1, John and Fremont 6.3.
Oh, Fremont.
He says, I don't recall ever hearing that song before. I don't think that's possible. I mean, that was all over the radio.
Jake.
Sip, you've heard that song.
Are
I
you
guarantee
sure I've
you on my
heard it?
life you've heard that song. That was all over the
It didn't
radio.
get a lot of play.
Oh, yes, it did. Yes, it did. Anything Matchbox 20 in the early 2000s got play.
Easy listening.
3 a.m., Bent.
Easy listening channels.
No, pop, normal pop stations, which existed back then. Very popular song. A 10 from Ryan, a 2 from Matchbox 20. Oh, sorry, from John Des Moines, excuse me.
A 2 from John.
Yeah.
John is very wise.
8.2 from Kevin and Seward. 8 from Jennifer. 9. Corey from Sterling says 6.5. I'm starting to redeem myself, he says, with my music choices.
What if I said this? Would it annoy you? Would it offend you if I said that barely qualifies as rock?
I don't get offended by anything, so no, I'll just say you're wrong.
It doesn't.
That's pop rock. The definition of that is pop rock.
Easy
There's
listening.
a channel on Sirius that's called Pop Rocks, and Matchbox 20 is the essential pop rock band.
Easy listening.
Right. They're not rock, but they're
Right.
pop rock.
There you go.
That's
they're not
that's
rock.
the genre.
Yeah.
They're pop rock.
That song's geared toward 35-year-old women, and probably up.
I don't know if I agree with that.
Is that? I mean, am I on the right genre?
I don't know for sure. I mean, I like this song. I don't know who it's geared towards.
Geared towards 32-year-old women and up.
I think there's a mixture of people that like that.
Yeah, of course there is. There's gonna be dudes that like it. It's not that bad.
Top of the hour up next. We'll discuss the lack of offensive talent apparently on Nebraska's roster next on Early Break on the Ticket.
I was in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean when it happened. There was a sudden jolt and our submarine crashed on the seafloor. We were in total darkness.
That's Dr. Dejana Figueroa, a marine biologist and STEM teacher, talking about a deep sea dive she'll never forget.
It's funny, when I was a kid, I was afraid of the ocean, and there I was, 2 miles below the surface. But as a scientist, you prepare for that. Using our training and a little creativity, we fixed the sub and finished our experiments. The dive was just too important. Every dive gives us glimpses at things few people ever get to see. Glowing creatures, fiery undersea volcanoes. When we got back to the surface, I kissed the ground and called my mom, of course. But you know what? I wouldn't trade that dive for anything.
Dr. Figueroa uses her passion for STEM to discover new things and make the world a better place. She can STEM, so can you. Check out She Can STEM for more stories and inspiration. A message from the Ad Council.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth. 93.7 The Ticket. 93.7 The Ticket. Fox. KFXL Weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Sunny skies with an afternoon high of around 90 expected. South-southwest winds a little breezy, gusting to 25. Very slight chance of thunderstorms late this afternoon into this evening, especially just north of the capital city. Overnight, we'll drop down into the mid-60s for lows. Tomorrow, heating back up further with a high of 95. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Allo provides so much more. Safer screen time, more of the channels you love, and real peace of mind. Take it from Richard in Lincoln, who gets more with Allo.
The internet is twice as fast as competitors, and the whole package is saving me $60 per month. As a retired veteran, this extra money is fantastic.
So switch to Allo today. Go to allofiber.com/providing more.
Hi, Andy Neal of Cartridge World. We are not a big box store that sells everything and specializes in nothing. Cartridge World is your local expert when it comes to streamlining office printing and scanning. No big box can match our proven no-cost lease program. We customize solutions that supply you with multifunction printers and all the required service just for buying Cartridge World ink and toner at a 30% savings. Call for a no-cost consultation, 464-3455, or go online to cartridgeworld.com.
Bagels and Joe is ready for the summer with peaches and cream cheese. Great on any bagel. Don't forget their delicious breakfast burritos and sandwiches, and grab a business box of bagels for the work crew. Bagels and Joe with 4 Lincoln locations.
Do you know the common signs of transmission trouble?
Your engine revs before falling into gear, shifting is rough, or you're leaking reddish-brown fluid.
Knowing the signs could mean repair instead of replace.
That's where we come in. We're certified transmission.
The job done right at the right price.
Hey, Tabber, join me and Robbie this Friday at Rubidoo for their grand opening. It's Lincoln's ultimate barbecue store, and they're giving away $1,500 in prize money. And there's live music right after the show. That's this Friday at Rubidoo at 455 West South Street.
Wake up, Lincoln.
Come on, it's 6 o'clock. Rise and shine, rise and shine.
It's time for Early Break with Sip and Jake, brought to you by Gaina Trucking. Live from the Coppel Chevrolet GMC studios in the heart of Lincoln, America. Here's 93.7 The Ticket's Jake Sorensen.
Did seem kind of meh.
And the Lincoln Journal-Star's Steve Sipple.
Surprisingly good.
This is Early Break with Sip and Jake, sponsored by Gaina Trucking.
Welcome back to Hour 2 on a Tuesday. Steve Sipple, Jake Sorensen, Early Break show sponsored by Gaina Trucking. You can also watch the show on the Sauter Heyman video stream on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. Give us a comment there. Regarding the song of the day, Buffet Sun says, if you can't bang your head against the desk to a song, it's not hard enough for Sip in terms of rock. I say I call that song pop rock. Bent
Easy
by
listening.
Matchbox 20. Someone says, why is Sip in a bad mood?
I don't think I am.
Name, image, and likeness gets us in bad mood on
Big,
the show.
Big Sky gave me this.
The wavy hand. Yeah. Well, I think that you and I get a little cranky when it comes to this whole where college sports is going.
Okay, now you said something. I don't think you mind me saying it on there. You said you hate this stuff.
I hate it.
Okay,
I
hold on.
hate it.
Hold
I
on.
hate it.
This is where I counsel you through it. Do you hate it or do you just hate change?
Okay. Well, that's a good question. I'm not the biggest. I used to like change. I'm not the biggest fan of change anymore. But
Okay.
I can accept change if I think if it's for sure a good thing.
But you don't know. And the other question I have is how much of your hatred just stems from the unknown? You just don't know.
Probably a lot of that.
Well, then why don't you do this? This is what I need to do too.
Mm-hmm.
Can't you leave open the possibility that college athletics with NIL will be better?
No, I don't think so.
Why? You have, well, let's put it this way. You have to leave open that possibility.
I think what Kaz was saying earlier in the show, Rick Kaczynski, when he joined us, I mean, it's hard for me to not agree with him when it says that this is not going to even things out. It's going to make the rich richer in college athletics. I mean,
That's already
what's the goal of this? If it is it to even the playing field, or is it just to make
No,
things
it's
better
not.
for college? I mean, because if you are out there thinking this might make this better for Nebraska or make more teams have a chance in college sports, I don't think that's going to be the case.
Oh, I think you could make an argument that it could.
Well, okay, an argument, but I could make a lot that it's not.
Right. Oh, I know.
It's not going to change anything.
Right. Again, I think that some of your hatred just stems from you don't know what it's going to look like, and you like the way it looks now.
Well, yeah, I do. It's not perfect, but I feel like we're, it's just going to be a semi-pro league essentially now everywhere.
No, the key,
That's what I feel like.
the critical thing to keep in mind always in this discussion, it's not the schools that are paying the athletes. It's the biggest misconception in the.
I understand that, but they're still getting it paid by somebody, by sponsors out there, different businesses. So yeah, while it's not the schools paying them, I get that fully. They still are getting paid to play. Players.
Yeah. And Kaz thinks it's just one or two. Now that's where me and Kaz
Well,
disagree.
you brought okay, but even if that's the case, if it's a couple guys on each team, or maybe it's 5 to 10 guys per team getting paid, you brought this up several times in the past, and I think it is a real thing that if one of these players getting paid a lot of money or getting paid any money starts playing bad while somebody else who's a walk-on isn't getting paid, but they're playing better, you feel probably pressure to still play the guy who's getting paid, and it's going to ruin maybe the chemistry of the team if it's truly a team conscious still situation in college sports.
Again, I just don't think that's the sort of thing that you can't lose sleep over that.
Well, I lose sleep over a lot of things that I can't control, and that's where we're going with this. But I will say fully, I don't look forward to the era of name, image, and likeness. And maybe you can say, well, Jake, you're just opposed to change, you're opposed to growth, and you can say all you want.
That's what I want.
I'm just very hesitant to see how this all looks and how murky things get here.
Yeah, and I don't have a great sense of what others think, like what the split is. If people are 70% of the populace thinks this is a good idea, 30% don't. I don't have any sense for it, but I think I do have this sense. I think a lot of people don't fully understand it, and I mean, I think the biggest misconception is that the schools are paying the athletes. And I can see how that misconception
I think what needs to be clear eventually is how many players are going to get paid by different sponsors. How many guys, if Kaz thinks it's a couple, is it a couple per team or is it a lot per team?
But what? Okay, now here's the answer.
Somebody pointed out, I mean, you might think that, okay, Garrett Nelson, for example, probably isn't one of the best players in the team, but that somebody from Central Nebraska, some bank's going to want to sponsor him.
What's wrong with that?
Nothing's wrong with that.
Right. What we don't look at the Carolina Panthers roster and say who's getting sponsors and who's not. Right.
Well, they're getting paid to play by the organization.
Right. A lot of money.
That's part of the deal.
I almost raised that. Right. I almost raised that question.
That's professional sports.
Right.
The organization pays them. It's not the same in college sport. That's why it gets really weird because, university's not paying them, but some outsider, some business is, and they're agreeing on some salary or some amount of money they get versus somebody else who is going a different direction, maybe getting less guarantees or benefits out of it.
Right. The difference when people make the comparison to what I just did to the pros, I do sort of laugh because the lowest paid player on Carolina is a millionaire,
Right, yeah.
And the lowest paid player for Nebraska will be making nothing still. So that's not a linear comparison.
Okay.
I get that.
Here's some great text coming in. And I'll read several of these. Okay. From the Sauter Heyman Jewelers text line 464-5685. Corey says this: Jake is so quick to say this is about selfishness when his entire motivation for opposing it is pure selfishness. You don't want your game days to change because you like them the way they are. They're not broken right now. The game day experience for me, and I think most fans, is not broken. I mean, this has been a conversation for years about players getting paid. I don't think it's been a broken system that we've watched on the field. Or, I understand guys want to get paid. They want the ability to get paid.
A lot of them already are getting paid.
That's been the case for a long time in college sports, and we've made it work, and it's been just fine.
Right. Well, okay, now this is the rebut, and this is what Corey's saying. We've made it work, and it'll be just fine. Why can't that just continue?
This changes things up.
Will it dramatically? Players are already getting paid. You know that.
Yes.
They're already getting paid. Okay. This sort of legalizes it, so to speak. Okay. In the SEC, someone said something really smart to me a few years ago. Sip. Those fans in the SEC, where there's blatant violations, they don't care. They just want to have a good time on Saturdays. Why can't we still have a good time on Saturdays? I think it's possible that we can. I think the headache is not for Jake Sorensen. I don't even think you understand what's causing your headache.
I don't think I really know either.
I don't think
there's a lot of unknown right now.
Right. I
That's
think
the
the
headache I have. The headache is the entire unknown of what this is going to look like and how it's going to go.
The main headache is for the coaches and like for the coaching staff. And I think the headache is for the schools who are trying to police it. Okay. But that can all work. And the coaches just have to deal with another headache.
Okay. Here's some more text coming in. Some good response. Wade in Lincoln says this, was thinking about name, image, and likeness. Does this mean no more free autographs or taking photos together with the athletes at certain events?
Well, why would that? No, I think you can still do that.
They're going to try to make money off anything, basically, aren't they?
Yeah.
So are you going to get free? He said free.
Oh, I think some athletes will still do it free.
Someone says, my concern is within the athletic department. Say the football team drops an egg again this year and volleyball goes off and wins another natty. The money Lexi's son makes will still be peanuts to what Adrian Martinez makes, even though the results are drastically different. I mean, that's kind of what you had brought up with Title IX earlier in terms of, fairness to what people make. I mean, again, football gets a lot of attention. There's a lot of money involved there. But as that text says, if volleyball wins a national title and Nebraska football again sucks this year,
and what?
They're still saying that the money Lexi's son makes will probably still be peanuts to what Adrian makes in his name, image, and likeness.
It doesn't matter as long as the school's not involved in the payment, which they're not. Then you're just talking about the market. The market is the market. It's not a Title IX issue if the schools aren't involved. The schools aren't involved. That's why it's critical to make that point. It's not going, Jake. It's not going to be fair. Okay? It's not. In a sense, it's not going to be. It's not going to be fair as we know college athletics, but it's going to be fair as we know capitalism.
Right.
It's not going to be fair as we know conventional athletics. As we know conventional athletics, the third string center should be making as much as the number one running back, because that's what the case is now. It should be that, but that's not the way it's going to be. Now, I just identified what your discomfort is in part, right?
Yeah.
You're just probably not comfortable with that. But that third string center, if he has a particular skill, like if one of his things is, man, he's really good fixing motorcycles, he can cut a deal with a motorcycle shop. I mean, now he can do that. There's all kinds of different ways that they can monetize themselves now. All right. It's not just through strong play on the field. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
It might just be a modeling thing, like a track athlete who happens to be a really strikingly good looking person.
Okay.
They can capitalize on that now. I mean, is there something wrong with that?
No, I don't think so.
I would say not. I mean, some of it is just that. Some of it's
that
not
example, I get that.
Some of it's not related to on-field performance. Not all of it will be related to on-field
See,
performance.
I think that's where I get caught up, is that where I view it as pretty much all based on on-field performance.
Well, I'm helping you right now.
That helps a little bit. Yeah.
It's not all based on that. It's not all on. Now, the thing that makes me most concerned is the recruiting part, and that will have to be dealt with. I mean, if a 5-star player strikes me as particularly valuable right now in the NIL discussion, right? If you have 5 stars, you automatically, what I was trying to say in the first segment is, if you have 5 stars by your name, you automatically are worth a certain amount as deemed by the market.
That's what I said. I said, if this makes Rivals in 24/7 Sports, I mean, they're already important in all this, but they're more important than ever before in determining who gets paid what.
I'm not saying that some entity will put a number on that 5-star player. It'll just be determined by the market. That we'll come to know a 5-star player is worth this much, generally speaking, because the market determines
That's right. Text says this, I see this making Bill Moose's job a bit more difficult. I get the universities won't be involved in the payment.
Right. They will not be.
But the players for at least the first few years will want them involved in helping deals get signed.
Yes, that's true. Now you're gonna have to work through that.
Right? That's a good point.
Yeah, you're gonna have to work.
We
through
know
that.
you're not paying us, but you got to help us get this organized.
Well, the reason that's a problem is because it's in direct violation of federal law.
Right.
Okay. I mean,
exactly.
Right. That's a problem. Yeah. So for a couple of years, there's going to be a lot of federal law violations that are probably happening right now. Okay. Now, again, that's something that's going to have to be worked through. You're going to have to figure out where the NCAA, where I have a problem with people that are for eradicating the NCAA is they need to answer the question of who's going to enforce NIL violations. Who's going to watch the schools? Who's going to be the watchdog?
How strict are the rules? How strict are the punishments going to be?
Right.
On this?
There's going to be a lot of blurry lines here. We're talking about blurry lines.
Let's make it. Yeah. Who's going to put the restrictions in place here? All the rules.
Right now, there's no answer.
regulations.
The NCAA doesn't have much teeth. And what happened yesterday, there was some more teeth removed.
Yeah.
Okay. Who's the enforcement arm if the NCAA goes away?
I don't have an answer to that question.
Nobody does.
Nobody does. And how soon will we know of that enforcement arm?
I don't know. Maybe like it could be I guess it could be the conferences, but as Kaz pointed out, how did that work?
Doc,
during the pandemic.
Doc says this in the text line: just because Rivals says a player's worth that much doesn't mean a business is going to pay that. The market is what people are willing to pay. If there are 10 5-star guys on a team, not all of them are going to be making what Rivals says they are worth.
Right. I agree with that. That's why I say generally speaking.
But it does set a certain expectation
Sure.
for what they should get paid or what the player believes they should get paid. And if you're not willing to pay it, well, guess what? They're probably not going to go to your school then.
Right.
You know? That's
absolutely
that's where again it gets you in trouble, because right now, I mean, Nebraska, it feels like has made some reaches on some players that you thought were pretty high potential, but had some other things going on. But let's say you have a player that one service ranks a 5-star, the other one ranks as a 4-star, and you just say, we got to get this guy. We're outbidding anybody. We'll set the market on this player.
Well, that's not supposed to happen. You understand?
Well, you're gonna say we're gonna have this fine, not the school. They'll say we got a client in town that will pay this much for this player.
Yeah, all right.
Sorry, that's
a blurry line.
I'll preface it as that.
That's a blurry line.
If you come here, we have a client that guarantees you're getting $250K
right
off the bat.
Right. We got it set up. That's blurry right
blurry.
away. Yeah, because we say the schools aren't paying, but if the schools are brokering deals, even if it's I don't know, if even it's not just blatant brokering, that's still an issue. And again, that's a Title IX issue. All right, because are the female athletes getting that sort of representation? You know, do you understand what I'm saying?
I think
they better be, or that's a Title IX violation.
I know,
right?
Again, yes, there's a lot of layers, a lot of gray area, blurry areas.
It doesn't mean it can't work, though. It doesn't mean it can't work. I think you have to suspend a lot of your concerns and just, I got to tell you, my answer is a bad one to this. I have a bad answer to it. And that's just, it's a free-for-all now. It's a free-for-all.
Well,
that's my answer, because I don't know. I don't have a better one.
As somebody who wants Nebraska football to succeed, me and you, because your job is a lot more fun probably when they're doing well, both this job and Journal Star job. Is this becomes probably a little bit of an arms race in terms of who
it already is
more, but I don't know if that helps Nebraska get any better as a football team.
I don't think it does, but what's that?
I have embraced the fact that this cycle right now, the guys are getting are a bunch of 3-stars. I like it. It's like, I hope these guys play with the fire in their butt, saying, okay, we're not a 5-star, but we want to go prove that we are worthy of playing there.
That can still happen.
You get some.
No, that can still happen.
You can have some there, but they still want to go push for the big time players too, and maybe have a client overpay for them. I just think that it doesn't create a great mesh for recruiting. You will still have some players, yes, that are 3 stars that want to prove themselves and maybe live up to a contract, and some players that are getting paid off the bat. And
I don't see that.
Let's say as a freshman, hey, this guy who's not getting paid is kicking this kid's butt in practice.
Now that becomes a problem.
And that how is that not a real scenario? That's going to happen everywhere because a kid's saying, "I want that money. I'm going to go outwork that kid who's already getting guaranteed money." And all of a sudden, that client's like, "Well, what the heck? This kid was supposed to start. We're paying him to come here and play. Why is this guy that was a 3-star
that's
a pass?"
That's a legit concern.
That's legit, and I see that happening everywhere.
That's just a real world issue that you have to work through, though, right? I mean, there's
going to be a lot of that.
But okay, now I would come back at you on that is, okay, a player like Wan'Dale Robinson comes in, and basically his camp says, if he's going to come here, we need X amount.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah,
however you do
he
it.
would demand amount. Yep.
Okay. Fine. Got it covered. Now he's getting outworked in practice. And he's not even first string.
Okay. Then what?
Okay. Then I ask you this: what's the problem? Why is that a problem? He's signed a deal. He's going to get his money. Some other kid has surpassed him, and maybe he'll benefit. Jake, I don't see how that's a big problem.
I think it could create an issue going forward about, hey, this looks pretty off the bat in terms of certain clients wanting to pay clients or players to get here. But then if they see right away, hey, this is not guaranteeing this guy gets on the field, he's not backing up his contract, then you have less businesses that want to actually go after getting these kids in the recruiting cycle.
It all works out then. I mean, you just let the market work itself out.
If I were a business, I mean, I know that it's a very important part in recruiting to say, hey, we got to guarantee over here if you come here. But if I owned a business, if Jake Sorensen owned a business and I'm interested in sponsoring a player
in some form, have him be a spokesman.
I don't think I can do that until he's played.
Well, that's you.
I can't do it. I can't. Yeah, this is my business.
It's not everybody.
I don't feel comfortable about being the person that got this guy to the university and not knowing if he's going to be any good or not.
That's your choice.
That is my choice.
Right.
But that's I like to see results before I actually buy into something.
Fine. That's you.
That's me.
Some other people aren't going to have to see
and they can live their own way. Yeah. But that's how if I own the business, you got to show me something, and then I will gladly entertain sponsoring.
Right. And if you sponsor, if you go the other way and sponsor an incoming freshman highly touted that washes out, then he washes out and you made a bad investment. And that happens every day, right? Now, where it becomes impactful is if the coach, say Coach X, well, let's just say in this case, we're just hypothetical. The receivers coach helped set up the deal with the businessman and feels compelled because of his relationship with the businessman to play the player that they're paying, even though he's getting effectively beaten out for his job. Now but come on. I mean, I think we're talking about rare occurrences there.
I just love all these hypotheticals,
Jake.
But these are real hypotheticals.
Right. I think I'm talking about a rare occurrence. Now, I got a question. Are people's eyes glazing over at this point? Are people saying move on? Are you seeing that?
No. Someone says this, Jake, of course Sip is in a bad mood. He has to deal with you every day.
No, I'm not. I know you have concerns. I was ready for that. You're fine. I get it. I don't know that you know why you're concerned, though.
I think a lot of your general idea.
Some of your concerns are just because you don't know what it's going to look like.
I don't know how many guys are getting paid and how it affects team chemistry, if at all.
It might not,
but it could.
Yeah.
Okay, but another one. I see Grandpa Jake showed up today. It's similar to the UFC. The best fighters don't always make the most money. It's about marketability.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't watch UFC, so I can't say if it's in a good spot or not.
Mm-hmm.
Or if people say, well, this is, why is
this there might
be
here's an example. What if there's a volleyball player who happens to be really good at martial arts and she gets a sponsorship from a taekwondo center?
Okay.
What? There's no harm in that. And she gets a nice little deal there. Not because she leads the team in hitting or even starts just because she happens to be really good at taekwondo and she plays and she happens to play volleyball at Nebraska, which enhances her marketability. Come on. That's all right.
I think, okay, let me say, I think there's certain instances it's perfectly fine.
Right. And I think that it's all going to blend together eventually and you won't even notice it's happening. Isn't there a possibility of that?
Yeah.
You won't know what Adrian's deals are because it's his business.
I know. I think to wrap this up as far as my major concern is going back to how if I owned a business, going away, I just said a few minutes ago, I feel great about, hey, if the player comes here and plays and performs, yeah, I'm going to sponsor you. But this is going to come down to an arms race in recruiting about who can offer the most money.
Already is.
I know.
Already is. To a certain degree, it is already in place. I mean, come on. The best players often go to the SEC. Why?
Money.
Yeah, it's happening. Yeah. The best players in college basketball go to schools like Kentucky. Why? I'm not talking out of turn here. The FBI probed this and there was wiretaps.
Yep.
Okay. The LSU coach is still coaching. What did he say to the parent? We cut you a nice ass deal on a wiretap. All right.
Mm-hmm.
It's happening, Jake. It's already happening.
Okay. So we got to see punishment for those players, for those universities now, but we're not really seeing it yet.
No, we're not going to see it probably.
I mean, basketball, we had all the stuff with Creighton and Arizona.
My point is there's already an arms race.
Yes. Okay. A couple more before we get to break. This is probably someone's helped me voice my concern here.
Yes.
And I'm going to read this because they agree. They say it's the same for them. Jake is worried about football never ever being the same again and an irreversible failure, and so am I.
Oh, I know you are.
That's why I don't view the system right now as broken. Many of you do, and if you do, that's fine. You can feel what you want. I don't feel it's broken.
But that's not what this is about. Now hold on, Jake.
That is to me.
Okay, no, what is this about is fairness to the student athlete, where there's all this money being made and the student athlete
it's been that way forever.
Not being compensated adequately in the eyes of some, not in the eyes of me and you.
Yeah.
See, now me and you are on common ground when we say they are compensated.
They get a scholarship.
They get $18,000 a year plus all the medical costs that they ever need, mental health costs, clothes free, food free, all of that. They are getting paid. Just in the eyes of others, not enough.
And I don't feel that way.
Okay.
You and I are the same page.
Yeah, we are the same. They are getting
they're
paid.
getting compensated.
Yeah, there's already great
They're
compensation.
not paying for school.
Right. And by
Unless
the way,
you're
they have
walk-on, I guess.
and by the way, they have a free education if you're on scholarship. So they are getting paid. Just not enough in the eyes of some. Okay. That's what this is. I am not convinced that it'll ruin anything.
Just so Jake hates the Constitution. Sad.
Well, I
don't hate the Constitution. Jake is a capitalist when it's convenient for him. Guys, just change is hard, Change is difficult. And maybe this is a great thing, maybe it's not. I am allowed as a human to have my hesitations, reservations, and doubts.
Yeah, you are.
All right? Yeah. And I'm listening to you right now on this radio show. And it will not go away for a while. So when this happens, I will embrace it. I'll say, I get it, but I can still have my doubts.
Yes, that's fine.
And that's how it will be. We'll have more next on Early Break. Continue.
At Gaina Trucking, you can make a better income, a better career, and a better life. Gaina Trucking and Excavating is now hiring Class A and B CDL drivers. Careers include amazing benefits with a 401k, healthcare, paid vacations, annual raises, and so much more. 40-hour work weeks guaranteed year-round. To be a part of this amazing career opportunity, apply online at GainaTrucking.com. Don't miss our team culture, benefits, and a career that will give you a better life. Be better at Gaina Trucking and Excavating.
This is Jay Foreman. I wore gear to protect my health on the football field, and now I'm protecting it with a COVID vaccine. Everyone 12 years and older can too. Get vaccinated and stay strong. Learn more at healthylincoln.org.
Do you know the common signs of transmission trouble?
Your engine revs before falling into gear. Shifting is rough, or you're leaking reddish-brown fluid.
Knowing the signs could mean repair instead of replace.
That's where we come in. We're certified transmission.
The job done right at the right price.
Shopping for new flooring? Come see the new Hot and Heavy at O Street Carpet. Hi, Steve Carper here. Hot and Heavy is a fabulous new flooring product. Loose lay planks or tiles with non-skid backing that look great and stay in place. Super easy to install, easy to maintain, about half the price of alternative flooring. Hot and Heavy, beautiful, durable, inexpensive. Install yourself in stock at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. We want to make you a customer for life.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now in our new time. We're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
Hi, Andy Neal of Cartridge World. We are not a big box store that sells everything and specializes in nothing. Cartridge World is your local expert when it comes to streamlining office printing and scanning. No big box can match our proven no-cost lease program. We customize solutions that supply you with multifunction printers and all the required service just for buying Cartridge World ink and toner at a 30% savings. Call for a no-cost consultation, 464-3455, or go online to cartridgeworld.com.
Hey, Tapper, join me and Robbie this Friday at Rubidoo for their grand opening. It's Lincoln's ultimate barbecue store, and they're giving away $1,500 in prize money. And there's live music right after the show. That's this Friday at Rubidoo at 455 West South Street.
Wanna bet? Las Vegas is miles away. The sportsbook at Ameristar Council Bluffs is much closer. We're your 50-yard line. Behind home plate. Center court ticket. To real-time odds and over-unders. We've got all the action and the best odds in town. So grab the crew and place all your bets on all your favorite teams at the Sportsbook at Ameristar Council Bluffs. Must be at least 21. Terms subject to change. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF. Sports betting is legal in Iowa and not Nebraska.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and there has never been a better time to trade in your car, truck, or van, and Koppel wants to be the place to do it. We have sold and serviced vehicles here in Louisville for over 45 years, and to show our appreciation, Bob would like to invite you down to the dealership to get a multi-point inspection, oil change, alignment check, and Kelly Blue Book evaluation for your vehicle at no charge. Yes, you heard right, no charge. This is a limited time offer. Go online at koppelcars.com, schedule your visit. You must have an online appointment to qualify. Offer ends June 30th.
We're on the air.
Back
Well, party's starting early today, isn't it?
to more of Early Break with Sip and Jay, brought to you by Gaina Trucking. On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
You guys are allowed to always call or text the show at 402-464-5685. You can watch us on the Sauter Heyman video stream on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube, and comment there as well. Plenty of comments this morning. We appreciate all of you guys. By the way, before we get back into this,
this has been the NIL show.
Well, that's going to happen a lot, I think, down the road.
Yeah, we're trying to make sense of it.
We are. This is regarding some punishment possibly for because it's not legal yet. We all know the situation at Creighton with the what's his name, Bowen was the guy that got offered $100,000 to go there.
Mm-hmm.
Per Jeff Goodman of, I think he's with Stadium. What's he with? Jeff Goodman is with Stadium. Yep. The NCAA's Committee of Infractions will release its decision on Creighton men's basketball today at 10 a.m.
Oh boy!
So we'll see what happens there.
Ooh, we have some news.
So if you
hello.
see some punishment there, guess what's going to lead the show tomorrow here on Lincoln Radio about a certain men's basketball program that I might be a little envious of and hate.
Now hold on. Now don't.
I'm just saying.
You're not reveling in another entity's pain, right?
Never.
Okay.
Never would do that.
Well, not gonna.
Didn't revel in the Patriots going 6-10 this year at all either.
Feels like that's happening.
Okay.
What else? Is Mike on the line?
We got a call. Mike, you're on early break. Go ahead.
Good morning, guys.
Hey,
Hey, I don't want to be cavalier about all this.
Okay.
But I'm not concerned about it in the least bit for a variety of reasons.
Okay.
Like Steve said, there's been a lot of this been going on. But I can remember way back when I was a kid when Curt Flood, I believe it was, sued for free agency. And everyone was saying, oh, my gosh, the salaries are going to go out of this world. Teams will go broke. It'll just be a free-for-all. People going to teams. And if you look, at least in the last 50 years or so, there's been a lot of changes, whether it be the one-and-doners in college basketball or whatever. And everybody always preaches doom and gloom, and it's going to be the end of sports. And everything always works out. And I firmly believe that this will work out, too. May take a little bit of time, but it's not going to destroy the sport. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Thank you, Mike.
Now, there you go. I think, Jake, all I would say to you is for your mental health, just
for sure.
Just let it go to a large degree. I don't think that continually looking for problems is particularly healthy. They're there. They're going to be there. Okay. They're going to be in front of you and they're going to have to be dealt with. And basically how they're dealt with will determine whether this all works out or not. There's already issues and they'll have to be dealt with in time, but you can't deal with them right now because the machine, it's broken. And now we're trying, we're dealing with a machine that's already broken and we're changing the machine. So it's going to get a little confusing.
Ooh, okay. How about this for a text? And maybe you might hate this, but this is a decent idea from Scooter. He says, I believe they should have a choice. How about this? Scholarship and get everything free, or if you want to get paid and sponsored, no scholarship and nothing.
I just don't think you can do that.
Can you do that?
It's not. I understand. I mean, there's
you like that? I mean, I'm sure. Hey, I like the concept. I like the idea.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's kind of what Kaz said, and that you shouldn't get both worlds. Should you be protected like a student athlete and still be compensated like an employee of a corporation? Because basically what student athletes will be getting now is protection on both sides, protection that you wouldn't get, right? That if you're a student athlete protected by a scholarship, really what it comes down to with coaches is, and Mike Dawson talked about this in Norfolk, Jake, you will stay on scholarship unless you are really messing up, not listening to the coach, not fulfilling your academic requirements, maybe breaking the law. If you are a good citizen and are trying hard in practice, you're staying on scholarship. Now, Jake Sorensen, it doesn't really work like that in the real world, right? You might be trying really hard and being a good citizen, but if our show's ratings tank, we're done. Okay. We don't have protection. So I think what Kaz is saying is, okay, now if they're going to be getting paid, and if we're saying pay the student athletes, why should they be protected? Because the rest of us aren't. Right?
Good point.
Yeah. I mean, those are issues for sure. Those are real issues.
One last call before we get to the game show. Chris, you're on early break. Go ahead.
Hey, yeah, that example of Curt Flood was particularly unfortunate. Yeah, because since then, the Major League Baseball has gone from the national pastime to, some people kind of like that game, but not many. And, it's number 3 or 4 sport now. And, and it has, Kansas City, Pittsburgh, Minnesota, Milwaukee. How often do people whine about the inequity in baseball? All these other teams can sign all the huge free agents. And, Kansas City is, got squat.
Right.
So that was a really bad example. Curt Flood, everything that was warned about kind of happened. So there we are.
Okay.
Well, I wondered when Mike said that. If someone would pick up on that, because I do think now Major League Baseball it's still an entity. It didn't,
Still here.
It didn't go away.
Still here.
Teams didn't fold
No.
because of free agency. But I would agree with Chris. My first thought was I used to watch the Dodgers because what do I always do? I can name their lineup. That lineup stayed in place for years because players weren't jumping around in free agency. Major League Baseball, a lot of the appeal was lost to me by free agency. I wouldn't say ruined it, but yeah, it definitely affected my love for the game.
I'd be curious because I experienced that my entire life, so I don't have a basis of what it was like before free agency. So
you would have loved it.
See, I don't mind it because I've been used to it.
I know you're old school,
but I'd like to see how I would have adjusted to that, knowing what it used to.
It would have been hard for you. The Big Red Machine. Like, I wasn't even a fan of the Cincinnati Reds, but I can name their lineup from 1975: Bench, Rose, Concepcion. On down the line, because they stayed in place. They didn't jump around. You could name those teams. I mean, I knew rosters.
You were a Red for life unless you get traded.
I knew rosters, Jake. I didn't know I knew rosters. You don't know those now.
No, they bounce around.
Yeah, you can't. I can't follow baseball now.
Let's play the game show. Give us a call right now at 464-5685. Your chance to win a business box of bagels to Bagels and Joe. Today is college football stadiums. I will give you the stadium. You tell me what school plays there. 464-5685. Shut Up Sipple starts right now.
We've all been there. You're listening to the radio, and then that rage starts to grow inside of you. It starts to consume you. It gets to a point where you just want to yell, "Shut up, Sipple!" No, sorry. I'm sorry. Well, here's your chance. It's time to shut up, Sipple. Call now to play. 464-5685. Shut up, Sipple. Brought to you by Bagels and Joe.
All right, 464-5685. Call the Takedown Sippin' Trivia. I don't know if that's a T or a J. Big Sky got backwards. It's a J. Looks like a TR. JR, do you feel good about your chances with college football stadiums?
Oh, hit or miss.
All right. I'm sure Sip, you feel pretty good about this. You've been to a lot of them. All right, first question goes to you, JR. Here we go. What school plays at Lane Stadium?
I don't know this one. The stadium name is familiar, but as soon as you say it, I'll probably remember. I'm going to go with I don't even know.
5.
UNO.
It's all right.
UNO is not
this
playing
is
football
God,
anymore.
Jake, don't do this to me.
Lane Stadium.
Jake, I think Lane Stadium?
If you want it, you get 5 seconds. If you don't, you
Virginia
pass.
Tech.
Now, where'd that come from all of a sudden?
Well,
Right.
I
You've
mean,
been there before.
Right. Yeah, I just wasn't positive.
I wasn't going to tell you you've been to this place before because the callers would say I'm cheating. So I'm not doing that. But it is a 1-0 lead.
Okay.
Here's your first real question. What school plays at Kroger Field at CM Newton grounds?
Ooh, CM Newton.
Kroger Field at CM Newton grounds.
CM Newton might be the tip-off. What now? Kroger
What
Field.
Yeah, what school? Kroger Field.
Vandy.
Not Vanderbilt. JR, do you want that one or not?
No.
That would be,
I'm going to guess it's somewhere in the Northeast, though.
No, it is actually in the SEC. Wrong school.
Don't tell me Kentucky.
It was Kentucky. Kentucky was the
CM
answer.
Newton.
All right, this is for the tie. Your last question, JR. Here we go. What school plays at Sanford Stadium? Not
Stanford?
Not
Like
Stanford,
Stanford
but
without the T?
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. Yep. Like Stanford without the T. Exactly.
I'll go with Sanford.
No, it's not Sanford or Stanford. Sip, do you want that one or not?
That's tempting.
Sanford Stadium. You don't have to go for
I'm
this.
gonna pass and hope it's not Alabama.
It is Georgia.
Okay, good.
Georgia.
All right.
Between the hedges there.
Yeah.
For the win, Sip, your last question, but JR has a chance if you miss this. What school plays at Vaught Hemingway Stadium at Hollingsworth Field?
Jake. Come on. Say it again.
Vaught Hemingway Stadium at Hollingsworth Field.
I don't have the slightest idea.
5 seconds.
I don't. I'm just going to tell you right now. It's a total guess.
Take a guess.
Georgia Tech.
All right, JR, we got to take this one to tie it up. What school is that?
Ole Miss.
Ole Miss is right. It was Ole Miss. And this goes to
JR. Hello.
Sip will go over under your number, JR, because he went last time. So, JR, here we go. What is the listed capacity at Georgia's Sanford Stadium? This is to you, JR.
I'm going to go with 82,347.
I like the specificness.
It's a great number, but I'm going to win. Am I 2-0 after this?
Yes.
Over.
Brilliant. I really love how specific he was. That's why I begged for is that. The answer was 92,746. You're about 10,000 off, JR. Nice comeback with your bagel and the coffee, but call in down the road, man. Nice try.
Thanks.
All right, good job, JR.
Disappointed sound there at the end there, but
that was good, Jake.
I just love your response to Vaught Hemingway. I have no earthly idea. The SEC schools have the weirdest names. You know, they're not commercialized. They don't have sponsors, which I appreciate. It's just old school names there. Let's keep it that way.
Jake against capitalism. Oh,
I'm a salesman too. Is the sad part. I don't understand. I'm all lost in my ways. Yes. We'll wrap things up next in an early break in the ticket. Last thing before break, guys, my friends at Craft Axe Throwing are having a lot of things going on this summertime you can be involved in. They have a multi-blade Monday. That's Ninja Stars and Throwing Knives. That's right, Ninja Stars and Throwing Knives on Mondays. They have leagues from June to September at 6:30 on Tuesdays. You can sign up for that in person or call by the end of May to get into individual leagues. Also, college night on Wednesday, only $15 instead of $20 if you show your ID. They are taking reservations for Fridays and Saturdays, and they do have tournaments upcoming as well. For more information, check out the website, craftaxethrowing.com, or to sign up for a league, you can call them at 402-802-9696. That's all at Craft Axe Throwing in Lincoln at 18th and N.
Bagels and Joe is ready for the summer with peaches and cream cheese. Great on any bagel. Don't forget their delicious breakfast burritos and sandwiches, and grab a business box of bagels for the work crew. Bagels and Joe with 4 Lincoln locations.
Since 1905, Sartor Heyman Jewelers has been through many world-changing events. We have stood strong with you and at times held on with you through the storms. Sartor Heyman is not just a jewelry store. We are 4 generations of family in the Nebraska community. We've laughed with you, celebrated with you, and at times cried with you. We're still here and strong as ever, waiting to serve you. We'll get through this together. Sartor Heyman, your hometown jeweler since 1905. Official jeweler of Husker Nation.
Hi, I'm Jay Foreman. When I played football for Nebraska and the NFL, I wore lots of protective gear to safeguard my health. Today, I'm not only protecting my health, but that of my family, friends, and our community, because I got my COVID vaccine. And now, everyone 12 years and older can be vaccinated. It's free, it's safe, and it protects all of us. Suit up against COVID. Find out more at healthylincoln.org.
Do you know the common signs of transmission trouble?
Your engine revs before falling into gear. Shifting is rough, or you're leaking reddish-brown fluid.
Knowing the signs could mean repair instead of replace.
That's where we come in. We're certified transmission.
The job done right at the right price.
Anybody who knows me knows I was cocky out of the womb.
Is Early Break with Sip and Jake, brought to you by Gaina Trucking. Weekday mornings from 6 to 8 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Interesting show today. If you missed any of it, check out the podcast at theticketfm.com. It's pretty much all name, image, likeness, and everything that happened yesterday with the Supreme Court voting unanimously 9-0 against the NCAA.
Which wasn't really related to NIL.
No, it wasn't, but like you said, it takes the teeth out of the NCAA.
It moves further in that direction.
Yeah. So
What was the text line like today?
it was busy. Yeah. Thank you. Again, it means a lot to have a mid-June show and people flooding the text line.
Yeah, and here's the thing.
And phone calls. A lot of calls today, too.
Yeah, what we're trying to do is make sense of massive change. All right? That's what we're trying to do.
Thanks to two different Chris's calling today. Mike called today. JR for the
Tyler.
game show. Tyler. Yeah.
Good call.
Missing somebody else in there. But if I missed you, I'm sorry. I appreciate your call, though. All right. We'll end the show on a fun note. Yesterday, there was two different concert announcements in Lincoln, two very different ones. I gotta be honest with you. I'm 30 years old, so I still should be with the times a little bit. I feel like I'm not at all because there's somebody announced at PBA I literally have never heard of before. PBA announced that later this year, Lil Baby is going to be there. So I've never heard of Lil Baby before.
He had his latest.
Oh, you know the song?
No, his latest album, we'll call it, I guess. Is that what you still call him? There
Sure.
were 198 million. It was streamed 198 million times in a week's period. He dropped it.
Wow.
He dropped that, we'll call it an album. I think it was 18 tracks. And it was streamed 198 million times in 1 week.
So I should know him then, huh?
Keeping with the theme of yesterday's.
Now, there's somebody else that's also coming to town.
Yes.
September 7th. Sheryl Crow makes her Lincoln debut September 7th at Pinewood Bowl outdoors. So you got Lil Baby coming to PBA and Sheryl Crow
September 7th.
September 7th coming to Pinewood Bowl
outside. Okay, quiz time for Jake.
Yeah.
What state is Sheryl Crow from?
California.
No.
Florida.
She's from Missouri.
Are you serious?
She's from a little town called Kennett, Missouri. I love, one of the things I do in this world is when I look up to see where somebody's from, the immediate thing I do is like Google the hotels and see what the hotel situation is in that town. It's interesting to do that because you get a good idea of the town.
Okay.
It's funny. Kennett, the first thing that comes up is, well, it's a Super 8. It's a
I like
Super
Super
8
8s.
for $69, which looks like that's probably the nicest hotel in Kennett.
Hey, that's good.
There's a Days Inn.
Hey, I
that
like Super 8.
There's a Days Inn. It looks like it used to be a church. They made it a
Okay,
hotel.
all right.
There is a Drury Inn.
That's a good sized town then. If you got a Drury Inn, the Drury Inn is a great hotel. My mom would back up Drury Inns to the end of her life. She loves those places. They're awesome. I like Drury
No
Inns.
hotels.
The
hotels.
Drury
for
Inn
over 100.
is nicer than the Super 8.
Kennett, Missouri. It's in the very southeast corner of Missouri. That's where Sheryl Crow's from. Yeah, the concert announcements were very interesting.
Lil
Do you
Baby.
know what the last concert at PBA was? I can tell you what was the last concert at PBA.
I don't know. Kenny Chesney?
This was Lil Baby, the one that was the last one on March 11th before the pandemic.
Lil
Da
Wayne.
Baby.
Oh, Da Baby.
Da
Sorry,
Baby.
Da Baby. It just makes sense to have
Da Baby.
Da Baby and Lil Baby go back
Yeah.
to back and over a year apart.
The Baby's in quite a social media feud with Cardi B right now.
Look at you.
Yeah.
Look at you.
It's time for the 2-minute drill.
Hot round. Red 7. Red 7. Hot round. Down. Set. Hut.
Have you caught any seconds of the College World Series so far?
No, I
haven't either.
have not followed that because I've been following the NBA very closely.
And soccer for some reason out of nowhere. You said
Euro
that.
221
That
is
shocks me.
very entertaining.
That still shocks me to this day. For Steve Sipple, I am Jake Sorensen. See you.